What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the 30-day Speaker Summit. We got another guest, good friend of mine, and it's funny because we've known each other for a while, but we haven't actually maybe gone in depth with our relationship yet. So hopefully we can do that in the future. No, I'm kidding. So let's actually get into this interview. This is Quan. My name is Daniel Francis. This is the master, and I'm the founder of the Mastery Setter program. And in this summit, we interview speakers and communicators who have the gift, who have the ability to articulate their words and really get their message across. So before I introduce Quan, I just want to give the audience a quick background of who Quan is. Okay. Quan is an author, he's a high performance coach and a speaker that has trained many people around the globe. He teaches many subjects like human psychology, breath work, meditation, and how to ultimately unleash your hidden potential. His mission is to help people get to the next level by teaching them how to go within. He's as well the author of the book. I wish I had it here right now, but I don't. Right there. Yeah, buddy. So he's also the author of The Morning Hero, How Heroes Start Their Morning and Take Charge of Their Lives. I'll put a link in the description for people that can go purchase that book and ship it over to their house. So in this interview specifically, we're going to be talking about becoming the hero of your life and how that applies to conversation and building relationships. But before we get into that, Quan, welcome. Is there any words you want to give to the audience right off the bat?
Man, that was a great intro, man. Honestly, that was amazing. First and foremost, I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here. I'm super grateful to be able to speak with everybody. And not only that, but thank you, Daniel, for the platform, for the spotlight, to be able to share the light and to be able to just reciprocate the energy back to the world, because I know we live in a very dark time right now. And more than ever, the world needs us to shine our light as bright as ever. This is not a time in the world where we should shut our light. It's not a time where we should shut off our love, but instead we should amplify it even more. So once again, to everyone that's listening, thank you so much for coming on and taking the investment to really really listen and tune in today, because this is some really amazing stuff you're about to listen to. So thank
Yeah,
you guys.
buddy.
Thank you, Daniel, bro.
Love that. Okay, so let's just kind of get into it, man. For a lot of people, what does being a hero of your life mean to you? So when I ask you that, what ideas and what thoughts come to your brain?
When being a hero to me, what it means to be a hero to me is just simply being the best version that I can. When I wake up every single day, I always ask myself the question is, who do I need to be today in order to be the greatest version of myself? What it means to be a hero is just simply being the greatest at the top of the top. It means I didn't leave a single, door unlocked. I squeeze every single drop of that lemon. I get a single lemon every single day. Okay. Now a lot of people, they don't even touch their lemons. They just leave it sitting in the fridge. They let it rot, they let it get moldy. But I make lemonade every damn day. I make it every day. I squeeze out every single drop and I make sure there's nothing left in there. And that's what being a hero means to me.
Cool. So, relating to relationships, how does that relate to relationships and building connections with others?
It relates to that because I truly believe that if you can't take care of yourself, if you can't be your own hero, how are you going to be a hero to somebody else in terms of relationships, friendships, a brother, a mother, in any form of relationships at all? If you want to be a great person, you want to be a great lover, a great anything to anybody, a great companion, you have to start with yourself first. Why do you think on airplanes when you're going through dangers, and they always go through that little exercise in the beginning that like, hey, look, if something happens to the plane, these oxygen masks are going to come out. But why do they always say that? Make sure you take care of yourself first, right? Why do they say that? It's because what good are you to a little child or a grandma if you're already dead? So you got to take care of yourself first, because in turn, when you take care of yourself, you try to be the best hero as you can be. You are actually doing a service to other people. And then you can show up and you can bring up as much light and love as possible. So that's how you can be better to others. And if you want to socialize, if you want to attract and be able to be a magnet to other people and bring them into your lives and reciprocate the best energy, you got to work on yourself first. And you got to be a hero in your own terms in almost like as many aspects as possible. So that way, you can really bring in the best things in your life in terms of relationships, friendships, and socialization.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's actually kind of like dive deeper a little bit on this topic. So, what do you mean by morning hero, and what are some, I guess, foundations that someone can start doing for them to change where they're at right now to become more of a hero?
Well, it's awesome because I wrote up a little acronym for you guys. All right, so it's real simple. I put it into hero. Eight. Is this mirrored right now? Are you seeing
Yeah,
this
no, no,
mirrored?
I can see it.
Everybody guesses. Okay, hero. I
Yeah.
think there's only really 4 simple steps that you can really go from here in terms of being a hero. And when I say the morning hero, is I believe the first step is how you. That looks weird, but how you start your day is how you finish it.
Mm.
And what do I mean by that? Is that most of the time when people start their days, and I'm saying everybody has to wake up at 5 a.m. or any of that stuff. That's what the misconception when people get about my book. Oh, I gotta wake up at 5 a.m. I gotta wake up at 6 a.m. Man, no, I'm not Robin Sharma. I'm not gonna tell you like go wake up at 5 a.m. I've tried so many things. As long as you wake up at a decent time, right? And you get your day started with momentum in terms of just taking care of yourself or starting up with gratitude. One of the things I start my day with is gratitude, because how you start your day, once again, is how you finish it. The bed that you make is going to be the same bed that you come home to every single night, and that goes with the same with every other principles and aspects in your life. And that's why I was so compelled to write this book, The Morning Hero, is because it's not just a book about being a morning hero. It's about starting your day off as a hero, if that makes sense to you guys, right? So how you start your day is how you finish it.
Mhm. Cool. So give the audience some tips right now what someone can start doing,
Yes.
because I know you're big on gratitude. I know you're big
Yes.
on foundation. So yeah, give us like maybe like a glimpse into your lifestyle and how you operate, so we can start to actually model that.
Yes. So when I have a gratitude journal that I created, and I put in the most simplest. I tried simplifying things. I don't try to overcomplicate anything at all. I start my day off with gratitude. I always start off with gratitude. But if you want to get the detailed specifics, I always make my bed first. Okay, I always make my bed first. Making my bed first is probably the first thing that I do. In the human minds, we have something called the RAS, the reticular activating system. So how we start things, and when we look for wherever we put our attention to, our energy goes. Okay. So if I start my day off with a little win, like just making my bed, like, damn, that's a win right there. I hop in the shower, I brush my teeth. Oh, I reframe it. That's a win. That's a win right there. That's another win. So all of a sudden, I'm collecting these wins and I'm on this momentum. I'm going, I'm going, I'm going. And then as I fill out a journal, I also tell myself some positive affirmations about myself, just things that I'm feeling that day. I'm beautiful today, or something as simple as, you know what? I shaved my mustache and I'm feeling a little suave, a little suave, just little things like that. But the third thing that I really get into is, what do I need to do today? What are the top 3 things that I need to complete today? And that actually takes us into the second part, which is,
Ooh.
which is maybe you can mirror this when you edit
Yeah,
it,
yeah, no,
but
no, it's good. It's
engage,
good.
engage with what's important. Okay. A lot of times when we wake up, there's a lot of people who want to engage into social media right away. They want to jump into their phone. They want to check all their emails. They want to uh, be controlled and be compelled by other people's agendas. They want to engage in the wrong things, but you should always start your day, right, by going and starting with things that are important to you. Like, if you got to ask yourself, because the reason why I talk about here so much is because there's another side to this that we don't normally talk about, and that's the inner villain. Okay. There's only 2 types of identities that you can channel out inside of yourself. And I believe it's either the hero or it's the villain.
Mm.
You get to choose who you put the spotlight on, right? I choose the hero every single time. I'm surprised nobody wrote a book about the freaking morning villain yet, because to talk about the bad things that could happen, the total opposite of in the consequences if you were to not be a hero. Because I don't think there's any in between. Because if you try to just be in between and neutral, then you're on the same side as the villain. Because I feel like every day we should strive to be the best versions as we can, and we should engage in what's important to us, what's going to take us from point A to point Z, even if it's just by 1%, even if it's just by 1%. Because at the end of the year, you know what happens? You're 365% better than that very same day.
Mm.
So it's all about the little wins rather than the big wins to me. So the second part is all about engaging with what's important, but not just that, but figuring out what's important to you. What's
Mm.
going to make the needle move? What's going to change your life, and what do you want? and engage with that. Once you figure that out, you reverse engineer it and you engage with that. And it can be even more simple things, not just in terms of relationships, friendships, all that stuff, career, but also with yourself. Like I said, being a morning hero is about taking care of yourself. Engage in simple things as a meal. You don't gotta go to KFC for Toonie Tuesday. Why don't you just go somewhere else to get something a little bit healthier? Even something as little as a really good meal, that's a form of engaging in self-love and creating that hero that you've always wanted to be. Something as little as that as well. So
Crazy. I'm curious. What's the RNO?
RNO, you want to know? You guys ready for the next one?
Tell us.
Okay. Last two. Realign and recharge. Okay. So this is where a lot of people, if you already made it past the step where you're already engaging, then you might understand that sometimes around 2 o'clock, 1 or 2 o'clock, we always hit these points where it's like, oh wow, I just did so much, and now it's like 2, 3 o'clock. Like you get stuck in this little crack. I call it the productivity hero crack, where the hero kind of like, man, I've already done so much, and you get tired, you kind of get burnt out, you don't know what to do. But there's a reason why in video games, when you play video games, there's like saving points and checkpoints. You're supposed to go to a place and have a checkpoint, and you're like, and you look back and you save everything that you've done. Like, okay, cool. You're like, yeah, I did all that stuff already. Then you pat yourself on the back, and you realign with like, okay, this is what I need to do for the rest of the day. Okay, there's a reason why superheroes, Iron Man, after a nice battle, he goes back to his cave and he gets Jarvis to fix up his suit, and he goes back on with his day. Everybody needs to recharge. It's not like you wake up and you just go, 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 go. That's a great way to burn out. Recharging or realigning is just as important. So as much as I like to say, just go, 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 you need to realign and recharge just as much, because without this part, an axe is nothing without sharpening the axe itself. 50% should be chopping the wood. The other 50% should be sharpening your axes. Okay? And the next spot, the final one, on to the next day. Okay. On to the next day. That's all it is. And what do I mean by this is just repeat. Will Smith said it best. If you want to build a wall, you build it brick by brick, one brick at a time. Too many people try to build a wall all at once. But remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. The Great Wall of China definitely wasn't built in a day. Any great sculptures, any great structures in this world was not built in a day. It was built brick by brick. And if you want to become a hero in your life, you must be willing to not only execute, but have the patience to build it brick by brick. Not perfect, but place that brick as perfectly as you can, one at a time. And once you get that brick down, do it again the next day. Watch what happens after a year. Watch what happens after 5. And you won't even believe what happens after 10.
Yeah, it's that consistency. Now, I could hear people talking. I can hear them say, well, I mean, this is great, but how does this apply to communication? Like, how does this apply to connecting with people? Like, what the heck?
Once again, this encompasses like the best way to connect with other people is by being your best version, because a lot of people, they don't always connect because they don't feel assertive. They don't feel confident. They don't feel like they provide value when they exchange in a conversation. And the reason why I make it so important to work on yourself and to be the best version that you can is so when you speak and you converse with people, you're able to communicate confidently and with a lot of conviction when you speak to other people. You feel like, because a lot of times when people don't speak, it's because they don't feel like they have any value to provide. They feel like people are going to judge them. They feel like they're not worthy enough. And the best way to make you feel worthy is to do some work on yourself. That's literally it. And that has changed my life, because back in the day, I didn't like to talk. I really didn't like to talk because I didn't feel like I provided any value. I didn't feel like I had any skills to share with the world. And I was always trying to look for external validation and external things. And it was very hard for me to communicate and connect to other people. But then once I figured out the secret sauce all this time to connecting with people and to like become a magnet for people to feel attracted to speak to me, to want to be around my energy, was within me this entire damn time, was inside of me. I just had to polish it. Everyone's got a diamond inside of them. Everyone wants to hang out with the hero, but it's up to you to pull out that hero.
Mm.
right? And ever since I did that, the amount of friendships, relationships, business partners that I've had now is incredible. And I could never go back. And that's why when people always ask me, man, I feel lonely. I feel like I don't have any friends. It's hard for me to talk. I feel undeserving when somebody ghosts me. I had somebody tell me that I feel undeserving when somebody ghosts me. I feel like crap. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to work on yourself, right? Take
Mm.
care of yourself first. And I promise you, the frequency that you put out there, things are just going to naturally be able to come out of your mouth. The value that you're going to feel inside, it will translate out verbally, physically, your body language, your physiology. It will come, it will follow. And that's why when it comes to socializing, I believe the best way to socialize with others is by learning how to socialize with yourself first.
How do you do that though? How do you, what do you mean by that, by socialize with yourself?
But everything what I just said, by learning how to do self-love, how to practice, how to learn what you're grateful for, the discipline of simply doing your bed. Because as you do these little tasks, these little things, you're always going to have some sort of inner dialogue and you're going to talk to yourself. But then as you do it, as you complete more things, you're going to feel more confident, like, wow, I can do things. I can do
Mm.
this. I do have a skill. Oh, what? I'm disciplined. Oh, what? And then you start breathing differently, you start walking around differently, and your energy is going to be a lot more different, and you will have a different sort of respect for yourself. And then now when you come into conversations, you get invited out to people, you will feel more encouraged, you will feel
Love
more
that.
brave and more courage to speak with other people, just simply because you know you can get shit done. And I swear to God, you don't even, and it's not even the fact that, like, oh, what conversation am I gonna bring up? You know what? I should talk about this. I should talk about that. No, when you're in that state, your physiology, your mental, your spiritual state is, I call it CEA. Okay, CEA is an abbreviation standing for complete energetic alignment. And I believe
Mm.
if you're able to take care of yourself and you align yourself in all those things, naturally, conversations and topics, it will come up. Don't think too much about what you need to talk about, what you need to like say in terms of socializing, but instead work on that inner conversation with yourself first. And the natural conversation when you have with other people is going to come natural. And that's what I mean by learning how to socialize with yourself.
Love that. So I'm curious now. I think the audience is going to be curious too. How did you get to this level right now? Usually we talk about the story right off at the beginning, but how did you get from where you are right now, or from where you were before to where you are right now? And what like realizations did you have, or you know?
Yeah, man. So it's definitely been a long journey, been a long journey. And, you know, when I was younger, obviously came from nothing, had nothing. Parents been on welfare disability for a very, very, very long time. So in terms of just poverty and finances, it's always been like that for as long as I could remember. And it was just so normal to me until I started seeing other people. I'm like, oh, why is everyone not like this? And then I started questioning myself, and it made me really doubt like what I had going on in my life, because everything that I was feeling in my situation, my circumstances was just so different. And it caused a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. There was a lot of abuse going on at home. And you know some people might know this, one of the stories I've told about online before, but around 6 years old, I was put into a foster home, right? I was taken away. My parents I was ripped away from my parents for quite a while. Me and my little brother at the time, he was just 1 years old, and I was taken away for a good year and a half. And when I got there, I had to learn. At first, I didn't want to socialize. I'm like, who the hell are these people? I'm like, take me back to my mom. And by the way, it's funny, but like it was so traumatizing at the time. And I remember at first I didn't want to cope with it at all. I didn't know how to cope. It's like we got this white kid, we got that black girl, light skinned person. I think we had a little Mexican boy. Like it was all sorts of things, man. I was confused. I had like this white foster mother. I had this other guy. It was just so confusing for me. And then I think about a month in, I finally realized is that like, hey, if I'm gonna be here, I gotta play full out. I might as well engage. I might as well make the most of my time here. If this is my prison, I'm gonna make this prison my bitch. Okay. I gotta become the king of the jungle. So then I had to learn how to socialize with everybody there, because that was all I knew. I had there was no more time for me to like, you know, make things, you know, even worse than it is. Why don't I make this into something? Why don't I make my time here worth it? So I started socializing. I started getting to know people there. I started realizing everyone had different personality types, and I realized that, like, you know, some people I gotta, you know, talk a little bit more softly just so I can communicate with them better on the same frequency so they can understand me better. And I learned this at a very young age in a foster home. I'm just trying to be the king of the jungle. I'm trying to learn, like, yeah, you know what? I kind of like this. I like getting to know everybody. And then finally, after a year and a half later, you know, my parents finally was able to afford some real lawyers and got me out. And then when I got out of there, I just had a different perspective for the rest of my life. Like I was just like, dude, why don't I just try to be not the king of the jungle, but why don't I try to be who I was in the foster care? Why don't I take that skill and try to implement it into the real life now? Because I'm free. I'm free. I'm out of jail. I'm out of jail. You know, I'm out of prison. 7-year-old me, I was saying, no, I'm out of prison. But I took those skills. I took those skills and I just kept moving as much as I could, as much as I could. And when things really got serious for me was when I was 18, I remember everybody was like, you know, going to university, stuff like that. And I remember just knowing, and I learned this from, you know, my couple years being an MLM, that what I wanted to do, university and a college wasn't going to provide for me, you know. And I realized that, like, one, if I were to go to college, if I were going to do all these things, I was just going to waste my time and money. Like I want greatness. I wanted to be able to inspire people and be able to provide value in an unimaginary, like, beyond anyone's imagination, you know. Like, I wanted to do all that, and I knew school wasn't going to teach me that. So I decided to move across Canada. Born and raised in Hamilton, Ontario. I moved across Canada to Edmonton, Alberta, long time ago. And I just started my journey of in sales. I started out in sales, worked my way up the corporate ladder, yada yada. And then as I did that, I started gaining more and more knowledge, acquiring more wisdom on how to communicate, because sales is all it is communication. And I feel like anybody who's in sales understands this very, very well. And it's been a never ending snowball effect for me. And it's something that I'm truly passionate about. It's truly something that I am very intertwined with, because the more that I get to know myself, the more I get to know other people. And the more I get to know other people, the more I get to know myself as well.
Mm.
And it's a never ending cycle. And yeah. And ever since, for coaching, I've been coaching full time for the past 2 years, but not just that, but traveling as well. I traveled pretty much before COVID. I traveled full time and going to not just places in Canada, but like other places in the world. People communicate differently. They socialize differently. Once you get there, I learning the environment and dynamics of other people, you know. So going off on tangent here, but that's where I
Oh, it's
was.
good. It's good. It's good.
I would get to now. Yeah. So definitely altogether, it's just been a never ending snowball effect, and loving every piece of it.
Yeah. And I think the foundation to all of this is the morning routine. I
Yes.
think while he's able to have the confidence to travel the world and do the things that you've done, it all stems from this foundation of being the hero. Like, you
Yep.
believe, Quan, that you are the hero of your life
Of
and you are the
course.
superhero of your life. So, all your situations, the way you look at the world is you're the superhero, man. And that's just how you operate now. And I think when you start implementing the HERO formula, or whatever you want to call it, that confidence really comes out of you and you're able to connect to people so much more.
Of course.
So,
Like I said, there's only two identities you can pull out. Every day when you wake up, you get to vote. Okay. You have one vote. You have one vote. You're going to vote for the inner villain. You're going to vote for the inner hero. At the end of the month, you can tally up those votes and you can see who you chose.
yeah.
At the end of the year, you tally all that up. You can see for most of the year, who were you? Were you the villain or were you the hero?
Mm-hmm.
Time is all we got. So we got to make the most of it. I'd rather just be the hero for the rest of my life. I don't want no villain. You know, if you watch any superhero movies or any movies in general, in terms of a superhero and villain, the hero always wins. The hero always wins. And the villain, they always regret things, you know, and I don't want to die one day and to regret the things that I could have done, the things I should have done, and the things I could have experienced, and the moments I could have shared. So the hero always prevails, man.
Love that. So as we start to wrap up this interview, is there any last words that you kind of want to leave off with the audience of whether they are starting off on this journey or they're midway and they want to strive to greatness? What is your one last piece of advice to all the audience and everyone watching?
My last piece of advice is that if, like I said earlier, during this dark time of where there's so much false perceptions, propaganda, fear, suffering, rules and restrictions of not being able to socialize, which is one of the most important things a human could have to socialize and to build connections. Do not shut off your life. Do not shut off your light. Do not shut off your love. Never forget that even though the world may be colorless right now, it may be looking like it's black and white, but never forget that you are the one that brings vibrancy. When you bring that vibrancy, other people who has a vibrancy, you guys will connect. You guys will be attracted to each other. You guys will be compelled and gravitated like the sun and the moon, like the earth and the stars. We will be reunited. And what I want you to do is that if you want to socialize, if you want to connect with people, nothing's holding you back. We live in a time and age where you don't have to be face to face. Look at me, Daniel, right now. We're on a Zoom call. We're connecting right now, right? You don't have to be in person. But what I'm trying to say is do not let these restrictions hold you back from being the best version that you can and being the best hero that you can. Because by doing so, you will be able to connect with other people that much easier. And I'm going to end it off with this last quote is that we cannot, in order to become who we want, we cannot remain who we are. So when I say to be a hero every single day, there's also a part of me is saying, be willing to die every day. And I say that in a very most loving way possible, because every time you wake up, you're either shedding an old piece of you and you're replacing it with something new, a new piece. It's like when Iron Man, he goes to war, pieces break off, those pieces were used already, boom, takes it off. He upgrades it. He puts something new on, right? And when he goes out, he hangs out with his superhero friends or he meets more people, it's like, hey, check out, this is a new piece of me. This is a new hero me, new this, new that. And so you feel better when you communicate with other people. But that's what I would leave it off at.
I love that. Thank you so much, Quan. Appreciate that. You guys heard it first. For everyone, Quan, that was amazing from your end. I think these are basic principles that if we start applying to our life, they sound basic, but this will ultimately change the way you connect, the way you communicate, and the way you become who you are and the future path of yourself. So Quan, thank you again. Is it The Morning Hero? I'll leave a link in the description for people to actually go check out the book and go purchase it. I highly recommend it. Again, my name is Daniel Francis. I'm the creator of the Mastery Setter program, and this is the 30-day Speaker Summit. Now, if you haven't upgraded, be sure to upgrade to the All Access Pass, where I do a bonus interview with Quan. We'll kind of go more in depth within his book, within his coaching, essentially what he does with clients in order for them to become the best version of them. So, Quan, thank you again, and I'll see you in the next interview. Take care.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
Bye.